Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again for this week's edition of Get Your Money Right. And, we've talked about retiring with dignity and savings. And, I kind of look to see what stories might be out there about saving for retirement. Really, I kind of devour any of those things that I see. Just, I don't know, not to see if I'm on the right track because everybody's track is different. And don't try to compare yourself to somebody else because each one of our situations are different. But just making sure you kind of cover the bases for yourself. So I saw this one article, and I think it was in Yahoo Finance. I think that's what it was because they tend to have a lot of them. And this woman said, I'm 49 years old. I've saved nothing for my retirement. And she was essentially, help, what do I do? And just the fact that she's asking the question, really and truly, that means everything as far as I'm concerned, because you're kind of clicking into, okay, time is running short, your working life, I mean. And it doesn't matter when you start, doesn't matter what age you are. When you're younger, it's way better because you can put a little bit away that just compounds and you're in a good space when you're younger. When you're older, it can still be done too. Don't let that frighten you because, like I said, starting is half the battle right there. So I'm not going to lie to you. We talked before how I tend to write out what my budget is. What do I owe for the utilities? What do I owe for the house? What do I need to put away for savings? Make sure the insurance is paid. All these other things are taken care of. And I write it down because it's the only way I can see you owe this on a monthly basis. So what are you going to do to pay for it? So that's my way. Do it however you want. It doesn't even really matter, but just do it. And I don't know how you are, but I've gotten to the point where keeping up with the Joneses, I can't look at life that way. I can't. I make so much X amount of dollars, whatever it happens to be. This is what I bring home every 2 weeks. I mean, so what do I do to take care of my business, number one? And number two, to make sure that I am saving for retirement. And again, I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to have to make some changes. You just have to decide you are worth it. And quite truthfully, you are. I know I'm worth it. You're worth it too. And by that, I mean you are worth having retirement with dignity. You've put money away to take care of your things. Okay, so and another thing you might want to do, wants versus needs, and really examine what those two lists have to say. What you want, what you need, and really look at that, because I decided a long time ago I don't need new shoes every year. I don't need new clothes every year. I don't need fancy coffee every day. I just don't need it. Would I like them? Oh, sure. But for me, I want to live my life. I want to have fun now, of course. But I don't want to sacrifice my future to be able to do it because we're all going to get old. It's happening to every last one of us. It gets faster every year, right? And you just have to look at it. Okay, one day I am not going to be able to earn the money I do right now. You're not going to be. Well, there are some 80-year-olds. I guess you'll find them in Congress who keep at it. That doesn't mean all of us can, number one, or want to, number two. Okay, so you're just going to have to decide what you want versus what you need. I decided I didn't need a lot of stuff, and I don't mind going to Costco, buying my coffee. It's already ground, so I buy, what's it, $10, $12 for a 3-pound bag that lasts in the neighborhood of 3 months. And so that's two specialty coffees that, it'd be nice to buy that, but I can make my coffee at home every day. And it's just something you have to Decide for yourself what's worth it to you to make sure you can pay your bills and take care of yourself for the future. So, like I said, decide how it's going to work for you. But like I said, I write it down. And speaking of Costco, I don't know how many of you have that membership. And they've got $5 chickens in there, right? Some people it's in an area where if you're not paying attention, you might not know. Wait, there is a rotisserie grilled chicken that I can buy fully cooked, take it home, and it was $5. Okay? So what I tend to do is nearly every one of my visits, I'll get one of those fresh chickens because they're quite delicious. And you can have it for dinner, you can have it for lunch, and you're looking at that carcass and going, get rid of it. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't get rid of that carcass. I had never made chicken soup before. Just didn't. My mom, she's a really good cook, or was, when we were growing up, a really good cook. Well, she didn't like to. Just, it wasn't her thing. And she would cook to eat, but she didn't like to. And as soon as we were old enough to take over those duties, we were charged with making the meals. And we, meaning my sisters and I, would have to do that. And so I never made chicken soup from scratch. Never, ever did. Until I was attempting to watch my money. And I go, there's still a lot of meat on this bird. Why am I throwing this away? So I got to the point where, after we'd had a couple meals off that fresh chicken, I boiled it. Okay. And you'll figure out how long to boil it to get the meat off. I'm thinking maybe an hour, 45 minutes, hour, something like that. Don't hold me to it because, I set the clock for 45 minutes. I check it. If it still needs to go a bit longer, then I do, turn it over. Get that meat off of it while it's in the water. And you can make yourself soup with that chicken. And well, let me stop myself for a second because there's a number of things you can do with that chicken that you were about to throw in the garbage because you thought there was nothing left on that bird. So what I've done, I made chicken soup with it. I made chicken salad with it. And there's lots of meat left on that bird, and you might as well use that $5 chicken to stretch it as far as you possibly can. Things like that, I harken back to my grandmother and her family, because grandma was the youngest of 10 kids, and her parents didn't make much money at all, and you needed to feed 10 kids. And so you made do with less on one hand, but what you did have, you made sure you stretched it. You just had to be able to take care of a family back then, in the middle of the 20th century. So look at ways to stretch your dollar. Okay, you just have to. And one of the criticisms I've heard from people when I say I shop at Costco was, well, you get all that stuff. What are you going to do with all of it? Well, maybe you can share it with somebody else, a friend, a family member. Maybe all of you can chip in and decide to split up what you buy. I'm just throwing it out there. Just ways to save money. Just kind of think of it that way. How can you make your money go as far as you possibly can? That's essentially what it's all about. Living well today and setting yourself up for success for tomorrow. It's just a matter of, looking for ways, and I'm just going to stop there, ways to do whatever. What do you need to have things do for you? For me, there's only so many times I want to go to the grocery store, and what I buy, what can I make that will last me more than 1 or 2 meals? With that chicken, my husband and I get, oh goodness, several meals out of it, actually, because it's just the two of us now. And that soup I actually made last week. I think I made chicken soup with all these things. And I don't always put noodles in it because there's just certain things I have to kind of stop eating or watch what I'm eating, lower my sugar intake, all these different things. So I would make this base, this chicken soup. So you got the broth, you've got the meat, you got the veggies. Then I was like, well, how can I dress this up? And I put all kinds of stuff in it. Let's see, broccoli, I put mushrooms, there was carrots. What else did I put in? I'm trying to think. Oh, bean sprouts, um, not bamboo shoots. What do you call those things? It's in a can. Oh, water chestnuts. That's what it is. Something fun. It tasted so good and so fresh. And I have at least 4 servings of it left in the freezer. So just think about ways to make that dollar stretch. And we're just going to keep chatting about different things, putting money away, saving yourself today to have money for tomorrow. There's some other things I was thinking about too, but we've only got so much time. So we're going to stop here, and I'm going to thank you again for joining us for Get Your Money Right. I'm so appreciative for each and every one of you. So take care.